coming up to 20 to 9. To land the dream job, they not only have to shine as individuals, also they have to work as a team. Last week, the boys weren't in Lord Sugar's good books on The Apprentice, but in week 2, it was the girls whose constant arguing and bickering and slanging each other left them out in the cold.
From the outset, there was no sign of Team Apollo getting on at all. The project manager, Laura, failed to take control. When it came to the sales pitch, their task to design a new beach accessory didn't impress the industry's top retailers. They got 0 sales. First time, 0.
0. Well, we'll speak to this week's fired candidates in just a moment. Here she is. Morning, Joy.
Morning.
Hi, morning.
First, let's hear the moment. She heard the dreaded words from Lord Sugar himself.
This description of passion, it doesn't rub off on me, quite honestly. I think, Laura, this is a pathetic result. But looking at some of these people here today, I get the feeling that it was difficult to handle them. Even in front of me, it's hard for some of them to keep quiet. So, a tough decision. Joy, I haven't seen anything from you, to be honest. Neither have my 2 colleagues. Joy, you're fired.
And Joy joins now. Joy Stefanicki. Good morning.
Morning.
Well, I mean, to be honest, all 3 of you could have gone at the same time. Really, it was. But I thought probably of the 3, you were the unluckiest to go, even though you weren't necessarily an unworthy candidate. What do you think was really unfair?
Yeah, I think I was definitely unlucky. I mean, not least because Laura didn't choose me first, so when she chose 2 people to go into the boardroom...
She changed her mind.
Yeah, so that was the worst thing. It meant that I just wasn't prepared at all. I had no indication that I was going to go in, and I wasn't expecting to be in. So I really wasn't very prepared.
Yeah. It did strike me as well that you were quite different to the other girls in that you hung back a little bit, and they're all so competitive.
I mean, very competitive and really big characters, and I think that it was very difficult to make yourself heard, and that's not something I normally struggle with. But in that environment, I kind of made a choice that I still wanted to come across as a credible candidate, and I wanted to be professional.
Yeah.
And obviously...
honestly, of all the programmes I've watched of The Apprentice, this was the worst in terms of the arguing. Oh, my goodness, it was awful. And Laura, the team manager, really couldn't cope, could she?
No, she got quite upset at one point, actually, and she kind of left, and I followed her and had a chat to her, so I knew how hard she was finding it. I didn't want to make it worse.
See, you went to her aid, and that's how she repaid you.
I know, she stabbed me in the back.
Let's have a look at what happened.
That's business.
Yeah.
Thought that you would have known how to nail this.
No, I think that's a bit unfair.
Listen, no, I'm not being unfair. I'm being. If it was unfair, I'd be saying it behind her back, and I'd be saying,
that's just bitchy. That's just bitchy for nothing.
That's unfair. I got taken out of the bag, putting it together,
exactly.
and then the final.
I cannot work with them anymore. I can't do it. Seriously, I'm just doing my head in. I just need like 5 minutes of everyone to just shut up and let me talk.
And that was you comforting her.
Yeah.
Well. You do wonder, actually, how any of them are going to get on in business if they can't work with colleagues and respect other people's opinions.
Yeah, absolutely. And they just don't listen to each other. And, you know, I'm disappointed that Lord Sugar decided to kind of kick me out instead of one of them and make an example.
Was it, though, that there was so much sort of bad blood in that particular team?
I'm not sure what it was. I think they were just a lot of them, to be frank, knew they needed airtime and wanted airtime in terms of television. Others of them just really, I think they just felt if you shouted loudest, you'd get more recognition, if I'm honest.
Particularly Joanna.
Yeah, and a lot of them hadn't. A lot of them are a lot younger. They haven't worked in teams before, and I think it really came through.
Actually, and you do notice it with other Apprentice series where they start out shouting a lot, trying to get their voice out, and eventually they realise that actually, if they don't work as a team, they're not going to get on. Full stop.
So.
You didn't talk much when you did. You were apologetic, and that seemed to wind a few people up. Let's have a look.
So unique, stylish, and multifunctional.
Yeah, nice, good. Can I say I'm sorry? Just, and we can put it to a vote because I can tell that there's different opinions.
Just say.
I think you need to hammer it with what the product is at the start. Sorry.
Why are you always sorry for what you say that you comment
Okay,
on?
why are you always confrontational?
I'm not, I'm just saying don't be sorry, you're helping the team. I'm not being confrontational, I'm saying it how it is. You're here to put your comments in. Don't be sorry for them. I'm just doing you a favour, if anything.
So had Laura, the team manager, gone for that exclusivity deal with Boots, you'd have been home free, wouldn't you? Because the boys only sold 100 of their beach towel product,
Absolutely would have been, and and a lot of us that were in there knew, and a lot of us actually vocalised. It doesn't always come out what's on the. You've only got an hour's programme. I think a lot of stuff gets left on the edit floor, but a lot of us did try and bring that back round, and by then Boots were like,
and if people haven't seen the product, didn't see the programme, it was a device that allows you to read a book while lounging on a beach.
I could never understand that product.
No, it wasn't a good product. The idea was something that we all sort of bought into, not the product, but the concept of having something to help you read. And I think that the name Bookies, I think that the reason Boots wanted to make such a big order and take it is I think they really like the name. I think they probably would have created a different product, actually. So,
but it wasn't a great idea, but none of you could come up with a better idea. I mean, that was a bit feeble. I mean, in that sense, you all deserve to go. If you've got to let time to find a product for the beach, and not one of you can think of anything better than that.
Well, there were ideas. There were lots of other ideas.
Really? What did you think?
Yeah, I mean, we actually went through the towel idea as well. We've been told it'd been done before. We also talked about a flip-flop, which was kind of one of my ideas that I really wanted to push forward.
A foot glove for the beach?
No, that was something entirely different. That was, I understood to be a sock, basically. No, we talked about having a flip-flop, perhaps with like a bottle opener or something underneath, but they weren't considered original ideas. And Jo was very determined with hers and very adamant, and it was a case of, she wasn't going to let that go, so we let her have it.
I think it's worth hearing what Karen Brady had to say, because you saw sort of the air of disappointment when she was watching you trying to sell the product, and she had some very cutting words in the boardroom. So here she is.
Can I just say something?
Yeah.
You are representing business women today, one of which I am.
Yes.
And I have to say, it is outrageous the way you're behaving. 75% of my management team is women, and I've never come across anything like this. And I think you have to remember who you're representing in this process. Young women out there who want to have an opportunity to do this, you should be an example to them.
Well said.
So it suitably chastened girls' team after that because you didn't get to be part of it.
No, I wasn't rewarded for being the person that did behave as though you were meant to, sadly.
So what have you done since?
I've been working for myself for the last couple of years, and I'm just kind of open to options and seeing what's going to happen next.
I think it's interesting because your approach, when you were criticised for apologising, that's a very female trait, isn't it, when you're trying to get into a conversation?
Absolutely, and one of the reasons I was apologising was because it was such a tense environment. There was so much aggression, and it was a way of trying to kind of keep the conversation at a level plateau before you even started. Because honestly, it doesn't matter what you were saying, good or bad, Joanna had something to say about it. And, that's her nature. Hopefully we'll see her learn and grow throughout the show.
All right, well, Joy, thanks very much.
Thank you.
Just too nice. Maybe just too nice.
Although you didn't look very joyous, I have to say, when you're sitting in that boardroom.
I know, yeah, it was kind of a scary place. It wasn't my best.
No. All right, thanks very much.
Thank you.
And if you missed The Apprentice and you want to watch it back, you can get the first 2 episodes on BBC iPlayer. Episode 3 is on BBC One next Wednesday.